Welcome to International Education Week. Thank you for attending today's info session. Today we will hear from Dr. Anna Foster, the Study Abroad and Exchange Manager at the University of Canterbury. We have a lot of information packed into this presentation, so we'll move quickly. The Zoom AI captions are enabled. Please feel free to take screenshots of any of the slides, and the presentation will also be available on the UCEAP website afterwards. Over to you, Anna.
Great, thanks, Francesca. As Francesca said, I'm Anna Foster. I'm the Study Abroad and Exchange Manager here at the University of Canterbury. Thanks for joining us online. What I'm going to do today is just run you through a little bit of an introduction to New Zealand, to Christchurch, where we are, and to the University of Canterbury, and hopefully get you excited about the prospect of coming and joining us in New Zealand. So we will whip through, and then there'll be a chance for any questions at the end. One thing I did want to point out with this presentation is just to let you know that obviously the University of Canterbury has the same initials as the University of California. So when we're in this presentation and we'll be referring to UC, we will be referring to the other UC, so to the University of Canterbury, just to avoid any confusion. So just for those of you that may not be familiar with New Zealand or may not have visited us before, I just wanted to do a very brief introduction for you to New Zealand. So New Zealand's actually an island nation. We're located in the South Pacific, quite close to Australia. So if you look at a map, you'll see Australia, and then you'll see New Zealand kind of down to the southeast of Australia. We are made up of two main islands. So you have the North Island that you'll see there on your screen, and the South Island as well. So Te Ikau Maui, the North Island, and Te Waipunamu, the South Island. So you'll notice there that when I talked about those islands, I also gave the Maori, or the indigenous name for those islands. And the reason for that is that our bicultural identity is very, very important to who we are here in New Zealand. So New Zealand was essentially founded upon a treaty, the Treaty of Waitangi, which is a partnership between the people of the land, the Maori, the indigenous people, and the people of the treaty, which are all other ethnic groups in New Zealand. So that Maori and the indigenous culture is very much at the heart of New Zealand as a nation. And it's something that you'll have a great chance to learn about if you come and study in New Zealand. So in terms of the actual size of New Zealand, we're quite small. So we have a population of about 5 million people, and a landmass that's similar to Japan or the UK. So not a lot of people, but quite a lot of space, quite actually a large country. And the one question that I often get asked about New Zealand is, what is the weather like? So we are we're not a tropical island nation. We have a temperate climate. So that means that we have 4 distinct seasons. So it's cold in the winter, it's warm in the summer, but it's not extremely hot or extremely cold. So, you know, in summertime, you might have temperatures of about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is probably around 70 to 85 in Fahrenheit. In the winter, a winter's day might be around 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So not extremes at either end. So I'm just going to zoom in now on the South Island. Well, the University of Canterbury is located in Christchurch, which is in the east coast of the South Island. So that's just where you can see that red arrow pointing there. We are really, really lucky with our location. And the reason for that is that the South Island is home to some of the most spectacular scenery in New Zealand. You've probably seen pictures of New Zealand with lots of beautiful mountains and lakes and glaciers, and a lot of that is located in the South Island. The reason for that is that mountain range that you can see on that satellite map there that runs down the spine of the island. So we in Christchurch are about 1.5 hours from the mountains and the ski fields, and about 20 minutes from the beach. So that means that you can actually go surfing and skiing in the same day. We're also pretty lucky that we're right in the middle of the South Island. So that means that we're really central. It's really easy to be able to get out, explore. Any kind of outdoor activity you can imagine is pretty much available in the South Island of New Zealand. Hiking, mountain biking, skiing, surfing, sailing. If you're not into the outdoors, you know, there is amazing scenery, lovely little towns, and Christchurch is just a really good jumping off point to be able to visit all of that from. So just a quick view of Christchurch. So this is looking over the city of Christchurch. The Maori, the indigenous name for Christchurch is Otatahi. So you can see the ocean there. You can see the mountains in the background. This is taken in the summer, so no snow on the mountains. And Christchurch itself is known as the Garden City. So it's a city with lots of sort of parks and gardens. There's a big sort of central park called Hagley Park right in the middle of the city that the city is structured around. So very green, very spacious city. It's actually the largest city in the South Island. So our population is around 465,000. Obviously, that's not big in US terms, but in New Zealand terms, that's quite a big city. So that's our second largest city, and quite a vibrant city. So it has over 900 cafes, restaurants, and bars, and really quite known as an innovation hub as well. So a very innovative city. Christchurch had a major earthquake about 10 years ago now, and so there's been the major sort of downtown area has really been redeveloped, revitalised. And Christchurch really just known for its innovative spirit. Couple of pictures just of central Christchurch, just to give you a little idea. This is New Regent Street. It's a sort of an Art Deco street in the middle of the city. Lots of sort of like little boutiques and galleries and cafes. This is one of the beaches here in Christchurch. So there are about 6 swimming beaches within 20 minutes to half an hour from campus. So coming from California, I know you'll all be used to beaches. So plenty of beaches available for you to make the most of. And then this is just on the hills, kind of looking over to the other side of the hills that surround Christchurch, lots of little bays on that other side there. Probably the easiest way though for me to show you really what's amazing about the South Island is just to show you a couple of the photos that our study abroad and exchange students have taken. So these here are all just photos that our students have taken, and they just give you an idea of sort of the diversity around the South Island, so around the wider South Island and the things that are accessible from Christchurch. So you can see lots of different landscapes, and really all easy to get to from Christchurch, right in the middle of the South Island. So just moving on a little bit to the university. So University of Canterbury, top 1% of world universities in terms of the QS rankings. So it's a strongly ranked university. We are a medium-sized university. So we have about 18,000 students. So obviously that's kind of a good size that most people tend to feel quite comfortable. It's not so big that it's overwhelming, but it's big enough that there's plenty going on. All of our teaching is research-based. So what that means is that you can expect that you'll be taught by lecturers who are very much at the forefront of knowledge in their fields, in their areas. And the university itself has over 40 recognised research centres and institutes and hubs as part of the university as well. When the borders are open in normal times, we have a really great program called the Erskine program. And what that is it's basically a program that exposes our students to teaching staff from all over the world. So it's like a staff exchange program. It brings in up to 75 staff from different universities around the world each year. And so that's a really great thing to be exposed to while you're studying with us as well. And then I mentioned biculturalism before. UC is really a committed bicultural university, and that means that we aim to really embed a bicultural perspective in all our teaching, our learning, and our research as well. Also a very multicultural university. We have students from all different nationalities and ethnicities from around the world that make up our staff and student population on campus. Couple of pictures and a little bit around about the university. So it's really kind of a what we sort of call it as a bit of a park-like campus. So lots of green spaces, quite a spacious campus. It's a residential campus, so that means that you can live on campus. Our accommodation our housing is just across the road from the campus, and it's quite close to the city centre. So city centre is about 3 miles away from where we are. So we're just in the suburbs, so a short bus ride away from the city centre. And lots of modern facilities are available around the campus. This is our Ernest Rutherford building. Ernest Rutherford is one of our distinguished graduates here at UC. So that's a science building which has brand new science facilities, science laboratories, looking towards the library there on campus. And this is just, I guess, to show you again that it's quite a park-like environment. This is just across the road from campus next to the UC housing, some gardens called Island Gardens, which is a really amazing spot just to be able to take lunch and hang out by the river. And just showing some of the laboratories on campus. So as I mentioned, we have very modern state-of-the-art laboratories in our science and engineering areas, and some fantastic off-campus facilities as well. This one is actually our astronomy observatory, which is down in the lower half of the South Island. It's about 3 hours from Canterbury, and it is basically a dark sky reserve. So essentially, they're not allowed to build too much around there in order to not have too much light pollution, and somewhere that I definitely recommend visiting, regardless of whether you are an astronomy student or not. The stargazing down there is amazing. So it's just a really, really great place to be able to visit. I wanted to touch as well just on a couple of the things that are unique about UC. I'm not going to go through and sort of talk about everything just because of the time limitations, but a few things that for you as an exchange student, can make for a really good experience when you're studying with us. One of them is our sort of experience-based learning courses. So we've got a number of courses that really give you the chance to get outside of the classroom, to go, beyond the classroom and really get out into the community and engage with where you are living and for your time with us. So one of those that's really popular is an internship. It's called PACE 295, and essentially it's one course, and it's you get credit for the course, and you would just take that as one of your courses that you would take with us. And you get to do an internship with a New Zealand business or a community organisation. And so yeah, again, a really great opportunity to be able to engage and to get some work experience while you're with us as well. Another one that's really popular is our service learning course called Christchurch 101. That course studies the theory of community engagement, and as part of the course, you get to go and do service learning within the community as well. And then also an enterprise and practice course, which is a project-based course in our Centre for Entrepreneurship too. So there's lots of opportunities like that that really will take you out into beyond the classroom and into the community. Also, another thing that's quite unique about UC, or quite strong for us, is our STEM programs. We're very well known for our STEM programs here at UC. We have very modern, state-of-the-art STEM learning spaces, and really well known for our science and our engineering program, which is accredited under the Washington Accord. So we have a number of engineering students that will come and study abroad with us as part of our study abroad program. Another thing that's very it's great if you're a science student, are the fieldwork opportunities that we have here. So a lot of that really is linked to our location. Obviously, where we are, you have really easy access to mountains and glaciers and oceans and forests, and that makes for really good access for field work. So the university actually has a network of field stations around the South Island. And a lot of our courses in the sciences will actually include field work. So you'll get to go out into the field and then bring that back into the lab to study. So it tends to be very popular with people doing things like environmental science, geology, biology, those kind of areas. It's just an amazing sort of natural location to be able to do that sort of study. The range of subjects here is also pretty broad, so quite an extensive range of subjects, and some of the ones that are really popular with study abroad students would include our arts courses, so things like New Zealand history, politics, literature, and particularly Aotahi, which is our School of Māori and Indigenous Studies. There are some great courses that you can do there, learning about Māori and Indigenous culture, worldview and language. We also, worth noting, have a Triple Crown accredited business program. So that Triple Crown accreditation puts it in the top 1% of the world's business schools. So a number of courses also available in our business school for study abroad students as well. The other thing I just wanted to mention too is our student experience. So again, I think that's one of the things that's quite special about UC. We have over 160 student clubs, so really broad range of clubs, pretty much anything you can think of. If there's not a club that you are interested in, you can start one yourself. And some of the really popular ones are our snow sports club. They actually have their own ski lodge at Temple Basin Ski Field, which is actually not the ski field pictured there, it's a different one. But the other one that's also quite popular is our tramping club. So tramping is the Kiwi word for hiking. So it's a really great way to be able to get out, explore with New Zealanders who sort of know where they're going and can lead the way a little bit. The other thing that's quite special about our student experience is that we have a student body that really has a reputation for community spirit. Student Volunteer Army was a volunteer army, as it sounds like, that was formed after the earthquake that we had here about 10 years ago. And that was just students that went out and helped the community. And since then, it's really become a strong club, and it goes out and does volunteering efforts in the community. They have over 2,000 members, and really great way for exchange students to get involved, get engaged, meet other people, and get to go and do some really cool things in the community. And UC is also very committed to equity and diversity, and we have a full range of student support services available as well. In terms of the courses, I'm not going to go into all of those here, but we have a really broad range of courses. Those are the umbrella areas, so don't panic if you don't see your subject listed there. That's just the kind of the high level areas that we have, but there's a large range of courses that are on offer. And study abroad students can choose courses from across the university. So you don't just have to take courses in the area that you're studying back home. Whatever works basically for your home university, you're allowed to choose across the different areas. Our semesters are a little bit different from the US semester or quarters. We have semester 1 runs February to June, and then semester 2 runs from July to November. And you can do either of those semesters in either order or both of those semesters. We can pre-approve your courses before you get here, so that if you need to know that you have to take a specific course for back home, we can approve that for exchange students before they come. And one of the things that we do also kind of point out, often we find that students coming from the US, that for you back home, it might be tricky to, there might be competition for sort of spaces in class. That doesn't tend to be too much of an issue here. Usually in most cases, if you have the prerequisite, you'll be able to take the class. There are a few areas that have restrictions though. We may not be able to have exchange students, and those would be in particular studio art, teacher education, and some clinical practice courses. There may be the odd other course as well that's not able to, but in general, course capacity is reasonably open. And then just lastly, I just wanted to touch on the housing as well. Obviously, that's going to be a really important part of your exchange experience. So most of our exchange students and our study abroad students will stay at Ilam apartments. So Ilam's the name of the suburb of the university, and that's just across the road from the campus. So they're modern apartments. You get your own room, and then you would share the kitchen and the dining and the bathroom with normally 4 or 5 other students within that. That's a self-catered housing, so you cook your own meals. There's a big supermarket just across the road, so quite easy to get food, and they even have sort of ready-made meals as well if you're really stressing about the cooking aspect of being away from home. We do also have the option for you to take a meal plan out at another hall of residence and walk over for meals there, but we find that most of our exchange students don't do that, and they would generally just get together and cook or in their own apartments with their flatmates. So there'll be a mix in that housing of international students and New Zealand students. So you'll normally also have the chance to meet other students from around the world. We have exchanges really globally. So a great chance to meet both New Zealand students and students from around the world as well. One thing sorry, just a picture there of the Ilam apartments as well. So that's just the inside version of them. And then one thing I did just want to mention just before we finish too, is that the information that we have here is general information for future semesters. Just at the moment, obviously in the pandemic environment, New Zealand's borders are currently temporarily closed because of COVID-19. And we are waiting for information from our government at the moment as to when those borders will reopen and when we'll be able to welcome our exchange students back. So we'll be keeping in close contact with our partners, with the University of California, with the EAP program, and we'll be informing them once we have more information on that. And I've just popped our contact details on there as well. If you're wanting to flick us an email at any stage, you're very welcome if you have any specific questions about Canterbury to pop us an email at any stage. So that's me, Francesca. So I think I hand back over to you now.
Thanks so much, Anna, for that whirlwind tour of Christchurch in New Zealand. So our programs are designed specifically for UC, as in University of California students. With hundreds of options available, you'll be able to find the perfect study abroad program to suit your needs. While on UCEAP, you remain enrolled in your University of California campus, which means you do not need to take a leave of absence during your study abroad program, and your University of California financial aid goes with you. Additionally, you are guaranteed that all of the courses you take while abroad will receive University of California credit. We could just go to the next slide. Here's just a little snapshot of the eligibility requirements for the University of Canterbury. So feel free to take a screenshot, but of course you can find this information on the UCEAP website as well. So we hope this presentation has provided you with a starting point on your study abroad journey and encourage you to explore the UCEAP website for detailed information about program options, finances, health and safety, and more. You should visit your campus study abroad office website or the how to apply section on any program page on the UCEAP website for information on application steps and deadlines. Contact information for campus officers is also available through the QR code on this slide. We offer office hours where you can schedule an appointment to have a video call with a UCEAP advisor to talk about your programs in more detail. You will find the link to make an office hours appointment through the QR code as well. Once you have determined which program you're going to apply to, you can start an application by selecting the Apply Now button on the UCEAP website. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. Our general email is also on this slide. Thank you for attending this session. We will now move on to Q&A, so please send us your questions in the chat box.